Strikes in Afghanistan will continue. That word from the White House in spite of anger over last week's civilian deaths. As Don Knapp tells us, Afghan residents living in the Bay Area are outraged by this.
That's right, Ann. The impact of that airstrike that took civilian lives in Afghanistan is being felt here in the Bay Area as residents of the largest community of Afghans in the United States call for the strikes to end.
No more casualties! No more casualties!
The casualties they're talking about happened a half a world away. But the victims of U.S. airstrikes in Afghanistan are very close to these people in Fremont, members of the largest community of Afghans in the United States.
Between 130 and 140 civilians, majority of them women and children, were killed, and the areas that were hit were complete villages that were burned down.
The number of casualties may be in dispute, but U.S. officials apologized for the deaths and said the incident is under investigation. Meanwhile, on a U.S. Sunday talk show, Afghanistan President Hamid Karzai criticized the U.S. while attempting to take moral high ground.
How can you expect people who keep losing their children to remain friendly? And that's a moral question as well. We have to be morally on a much higher platform in order for us to win the war on terrorism.
And do you worry that the U.S. has not met that standard? Have they not met their own moral standard?
The U.S. has not met that standard in Afghanistan.
Though attempts will be made to do the right thing, U.S. General James L. Jones says he will not tie the hands of commanders by discontinuing airstrikes. Demonstrators in Fremont say they expected better of President Obama.
We hold this president in a different light than we did his predecessor, and we expect more from this president, and we expect more from this administration to take precaution and take more caution when they are pursuing militants in Afghanistan to reduce, and we want to end civilian casualties.
In his Meet the Press interview, Karzai claimed there are no Taliban militants hiding in the homes and villages of civilians. He says the Afghan people are all allies of the U.S. and want the battle against the militants to succeed.
Don, thank you.